All right. We got about 1 minute here before we get started. Let me know in chat if you can hear me okay and see my screen okay. Always good to double check that. Let everybody in here. I think you guys can see my screen. Audio is good. Awesome. Thank you. You're hearing me okay. All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Yes to both. Good. Thank you. Super helpful just to know we're all set and ready to go. All right. We'll give everybody about 30 more seconds here to jump on, and then we will dive in. Thank you for taking time out of what I know is a crazy schedule and probably busy day to spend the next hour here with me. We are going to go over the scale model and how that applies to everything in your business. Yeah, we are good. All right, I got my recording is on. Make sure here. Yes. All right. I was double check that as well. Okay, well, welcome. As I said, we're going to go over the scale model here. This is something that I originally presented, and you can see I just kind of sketched it on one of those giant Post-it notes the first time I shared it with a group. And it's something that I actually developed as a solution when I was working with some of my private clients who either had a group program that was selling great, that was full, and they were trying to expand into higher level one-on-one clients, and it just wasn't selling or wasn't translating, or they were looking to turn it into an info product and again wasn't working, or they had a really great high level program but they were struggling to get people into a group level of that program, and really looking at what were the disconnects there, what was it that we needed to change, what do we need to do to really make it work. And what it came down to was the concept that I'm going to share with you all today of really looking at the different levels of buyers, the different levels of prospects, and how to speak directly to the level that you want to reach. And hopefully you will have the same reaction today that others I have shared this with have had, which is now things make sense when it comes to what's working and not working in your business. If you have any questions as we're going through this, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb so it's not pinging here. Feel free to put them in chat. I will either answer them as we go or circle back to them at the end. So real quick, before we get started, I want to make sure that you're in the right place in that this is a good use of your time. So I'm going to go over some situations where this will be helpful just to make sure. Like I said in the email, I am not going to do the 15-20 minute about me. If you want to know about me, you can Google me. I'm just going to dive right in and spend this hour on the teaching pieces of this. So I recommend you grab some paper, grab a pen. You're probably going to want to jot some notes down as we go. So here's how to know if this is going to be helpful for you. If you have funnels that aren't converting, even though you feel like you've done everything right, you got all the pieces, they're all connected. If they're not converting, either you're not getting traffic to it, you're not getting opt-ins, you're not getting sales at various levels, this is going to be incredibly helpful for you. If you've got freebies that just don't seem to be catching your audience's attention and you're trying to figure out what would grab their attention, what do I need to say differently to make them see the value in this, this will be helpful for you. If you have a lot of leads coming in, but they're not qualified or they're not at the level that you want to work with, this may be the piece that's missing. Most often I find that it is. You're not alone if you have that particular challenge going on. If you're doing endless Facebook ads, boosting posts, social media, networking events, all the stuff, and there's millions of things everybody tells you to work that you should be doing and they're not working for you, this will help because it's going to pull back to just what are the 2 or 3 things that are really effective for the audience you want to target, and how do you just put those in place? Because my biggest goal is to help you actually clarify things and simplify them, because you don't need to do the million things, you just need to find a couple that are effective. If you have great conversion on sales calls or one-on-one, but when you put it into a funnel, it doesn't seem to work as well, this will be helpful. If you're trying to expand to a new level offer, but you're struggling with conversions, again, that was one of the key things that helped develop this particular model. So it will help with that. If you're hearing too much, I can't afford it, or people just aren't getting the value in what you offer, this is the conversation that you need to have with them to change that. And if you're feeling burnt out and like scaling your business is just too much work, this will help. So if any of those apply, you are in the right place and this will be useful for you. So you may have a funnel right now that looks something like this, where you've got that complimentary offer that's free. People, generally see a 20 to 40% conversion rate on their free thing, goes into a front end offer. You might call this an SLO, where it's, under 50 bucks, just something small to see if people are really interested and willing to invest, or that's what we're told, or to cover your ad costs. Then it goes to a low ticket offer, 500 or less. Then you've got your mid ticket offer, and then your high ticket offer, and another high ticket offer, and another high ticket offer. If this is what your funnel looks like, I can tell you why it's probably not converting nearly as well as you would like it to. And the right people aren't seeing the right offers because your funnel is trying to be everything to everyone. And that's not going to sell to anyone, because here's the thing, and we're going to dive into this more. The person who is a good fit for that front end or low ticket offer absolutely will opt in for a freebie. They'll sit through your webinar and they will go into your lower ticket programs. But the person who's really looking to invest at a high level, there's a reason they have the money to invest at a high level. They're very careful with their time. They're very busy. And the chances of them actually going through all these levels and purchasing all these things just to find out you even offer something high ticket is almost zero. It doesn't work because the person who is a higher ticket buyer is looking to go straight to that. They just want to know, can you help me? Can you solve this problem? They're not going to go through all these levels of a funnel just to find out they can work directly with you. And the person who does go through the lower levels, there's a reason they're investing in the group program. Most of them are not at the level or have the ability to afford your highest ticket offers. So if you're forcing people through a funnel like this, you're losing people everywhere. And we're going to look at how to fix that. One funnel cannot be everything to everyone, or it's not going to sell anything to anyone. All right. So wrong approach. What is the right approach? The thing to know is there's really 5 distinct levels of buyers. And as I go through this, I want you to write down for yourself which level you actually want to target and work with. And if a different level is coming in, make a note for yourself of who you feel like that is, because it's going to help you figure out what to change, what to adjust, so you can get the right level of buyers in. Every one of these levels buys differently, right? So the same language will not speak to the person who is looking for a do-it-yourself solution as the person who is looking for a high ticket done for them solution, right? They all buy differently and they buy for very different reasons. So you need different messaging to attract them, a different funnel style to convert them, and a different offer that will excite them. Doesn't mean your services change or your product changes. It's how you present it in your marketing and in your conversations. The same exact service or product you can sell to all these levels. It's just a matter of how exactly you approach it. So you may be familiar with the 5 levels that we talk about in life, right? Everyone falls into one of these 5 categories in life. There's survival, stability, security, success, and significance. If you're familiar with this model, this is what we're going to overlay on businesses, because people and businesses both are at these levels. Now, in the examples, I'm going to focus on business. Most of you on here are B2B. You're selling something to business owners, to entrepreneurs. If you are selling to consumers, same levels apply. But everyone falls into one of these levels, and you have to know exactly which level, which of your offers is targeting, so you can line things up and really get your conversions happening. All right. So this is the scale formula, and these are the different levels that are, every business falls into one of these levels. I'm going to give you some indicators to look for in a minute for each of these levels, but it's startup or survival mode, consistency, which is where stability starts to come in. You will also recognize which level in business you are at as we go through this and what you got to do to get to your next level. Accomplished, where there's some more security there. Leading, where there's a degree of bigger success. And then elite is the top level of businesses where it really is about significance at that point, about legacy. And you got to know who you're speaking to, because if you're looking to target mass market startup survival mode businesses, language and the offer is very different, and the funnel, and we'll get into that more, versus leading or elite, for example. Totally different buying triggers, totally different reasons that they're going to say yes, and totally different things that will catch their attention. So as you're looking at how you reach people, and this is where you can start to see what may or may not be working in terms of the funnels that you have in place. When you're at the lower levels of this, things like a typical funnel will work. A freebie, a webinar, a VSL where people are opting in, getting access to some information they go through on their own or on a webinar like this, and then moving into some of your offers. But as you go up this model, when you get to the higher levels, it becomes all about networking, referrals, conversation, and application funnels will work at that level, right? But it's very different how you target these different levels depending on what you're offering and who you want to offer that to. Another thing that changes, and I'm just kind of giving you the overview before we dive into the specific levels, is what they value. So when people are at a lower level or more of a startup level, and by the way, a business can have 15 years behind them and still be in startup. And you'll see in a minute what qualifies these different levels. So it's not about how long they've been in business, it's really about where they're at, what assets they have in place, and what kind of income or revenue that they're generating. At the lower levels of this, information is what they're looking for. They've got more time than money. These are the do-it-yourselfers, right? And as you go up the scale, you get into where expertise and speed are the most important things because they've got more money than time, which is why a 2-hour webinar does not sell effectively to people at a higher level. They don't need to know that. All they need to know is, can you deliver and what problem can you solve for them? And they are more likely to take a recommendation from a friend, from a colleague, than they are to buy from a webinar or to buy from a typical online funnel. Very important to realize how you target people if you want to get in the right level of leads. All right, and we're going to dive more into that in a minute as well. So the other thing is that as you go up these levels, you've got a couple of things here. Less personal time is what LPT stands for here, and more personal time. And the value delivered changes. So you can have one offer that speaks to all of these different levels. I recommend targeting one at a time for obvious reason, but you can expand your offer to reach all of these levels as long as you know how to do that. One of the challenges that I see a lot of businesses face is they've got so many clients down here at this level, but their offer has so much personal time in it that it's not sustainable. And so you've got to be really careful with the offers that you put out to each of these levels so that you can build something sustainable and so that you're really looking at where is the most value delivered in what you do. One of the examples that I use all the time with clients is, I write copy very often for clients. And if I'm looking at a copywriting package that's, let's say, $5,000 to write the sales page and funnel messaging and the emails, and I target this level down here and they're selling a $7 ebook, they would have to sell like 1,000 ebooks to be able to cover the investment in my copywriting. Now, can I sell that? Yeah, I probably could, not with a good conscience. I could probably close that though. But if I look at higher levels and I've got somebody who has a 10K offer, they need one sale and they've doubled their investment in that copy. And so the value in what I offer is much, much higher if I'm targeting the right level. Right? This is also where a lot of burnout comes from in business, because if you're working with clients at a lower level, they're not going to be able to get the same results. And that's discouraging, right? When you know you've delivered something great and yet they're not seeing the results. So it's really important to match your offer to what clients at these levels are capable of. You'll have more fun in your business if you set this up right. You'll also get better testimonials, more referrals, and things just get a lot easier. So you really want to look at what is the value that you can deliver to each of these levels and which level makes the most sense for you to target. And minor soapbox moment, remember that you are a specialist in something. You can target businesses who are at a higher level than you because they're not asking you how to get to that level. They're asking you for help with the one thing that's your expertise. So don't be afraid to look at these levels and maybe target a higher level than you are currently at in your own business, because you can deliver something of incredible value. All right, let's dive into the levels here. Again, if you have questions, feel free to put them into the chat here. So we're going to start at the bottom level. This is the biggest market. This is where the volume plays come in. This is startup or survival level. Businesses at this level are generally 0 to 100K in revenue. They have a community reach of somewhere between 0 and 2,500. And this is between lists, social media, all of that. They're usually selling one-offs. So time equals money at this point. They're working by themselves and they're in a dreaming phase, right? They've got these ideas of what's possible, the potential, but they don't have a lot in place yet, right? And this is a great audience if you have the right offer to be able to help. What they need most is actually hope and mindset support. And if you've ever worked with this level, you understand what I'm saying about the mindset support being necessary for them. To get to the next level, they've got to have foundations, clarity, and action. And at this level, you can generally sell anything from freebies to 2K fairly easily, right? And one thing to look at that I see a lot, especially in the coaching space, is higher ticket packages trying to be sold to this level. If somebody is making less than 10K a month, you're going to have a really hard time selling them on a 20, 25K package. So if you're getting leads in at this level and you're trying to sell something higher ticket, you're going to feel like you suck at sales. And it's not that you suck at sales, it's that you're talking to the wrong people and you've got the wrong offer in front of them. So you either got to change the offer or change the people that you're getting it in front of, right? So as we look at this startup level, ask yourself some questions, and this goes for all of the levels to really help you dial in your own messaging. What companies and brands cater to this audience? What's the messaging they're using? What type of sales do you see them offering? What are their best selling products? Who are the celebrities people at this level are looking up to? TV shows they're watching, podcasts they're listening to, magazines they're reading. If you want to target this level, you need to understand where their focus is. For somebody in business at this level, they're just trying to keep the lights on. They're just trying to get the business started. And depending on what you're offering, it's got to be a match for what they see that they need, right? You got to sell people solutions to problems they're aware of. If you're trying to sell something too high level, they don't have the bandwidth to even think about that, right? So really think about what is the offer you're putting out there. As an example, you can kind of think of Walmart at this level. You see a lot of big sales, you see a lot of discounts, right? And that's something that goes along with this level. You also see the messaging they're using, it's very direct, right? So think about businesses that sell to this level. And you really want to think not just about the demographics of how much income or revenue they have in their business, but the psychographics. Where's their mind at? What are they worried about? What are they thinking? Think about their behavior versus the geographics. And get even more specific as you're really looking at this. You want to look at, are you targeting men versus women? Is there, in your model, are you targeting people who are at the lower end or the higher end of this particular group? And is it consumer versus business, right? And like I said, there are specific funnels that work at each of these levels. For this one, freebies work great because people in this level are looking for free information. They're looking more for, can they do it themselves, right? So if you've got a higher ticket offer, you can absolutely bring it down to this level at a lower price point, less of your personal time, and really target people who are looking to do it themselves. The next level that you move into is the consistency level. And this is where businesses are starting to be a little more stable, a little more consistent. They've got 100 to 250K level revenue at this point. Their community reach is bigger, and they have more defined products and services. They're probably outsourcing some things at this level. They may not have a team yet, but they at least know how to use like Fiverr. They know how to outsource pieces of things, right? So for example, if you're selling hey, let me help you hire, let me help your team get going, this would be a good level to target because they're starting to think about that. You wouldn't be able to sell that to somebody in startup mode. They can't even cover their own salary for business. Their business probably isn't paying them consistently versus this level here, right? So you really got to think about which of these levels is a fit for what you're offering. And the reason I'm mentioning things like more defined products and services, if you're qualifying your leads, know what you're looking for. If somebody is selling their time for money in packages, they're more likely at a lower level if they have, and especially if it's one off. If they have very defined packages, defined services, they're at a little bit higher level. So those are some of the indicators you can look for. This is a hustle phase. The biggest thing of importance here is they have to save time and energy, and you want to speak to that. Why will your products or services save them time, save them energy? Because they are probably working what feels like 24/7 to keep their business going. And if you can speak to that, that's where you get their attention, which is why one funnel can't be everything to everyone. At this level, you got to speak to that. At higher levels, it's not about that anymore. All right. To reach the next level from here, they need systems and sales process. And if you're selling to this level, you could pretty easily sell anything from free to 7,500. Right, so think about where your offers are at and where they fit in here. Let's go a little bit deeper with this one. Again, you want to ask yourself the same questions. Who's targeting this? At this level, you want to think about practical quality investments. People have a little more brain bandwidth. So they're making better decisions. They make better financial choices. And they like to connect with a mission or a message that feels human, right? When you're in startup, it's not as much of a motivator if the company is, donating to certain causes or has a big mission, because you're just looking for solutions, right? When you move up this, things like charities come into play more and are more of a motivator. And you can think about Trader Joe's or Whole Foods more at this level versus Walmart shoppers, right? This is where celebrity power also works really well. People at this level tend to have, even though they're hustling, a little bit more time. They're generally a little bit more open to celebrity messaging that works better at some of the lower levels. So moving to the next level is accomplished. This is where a business starts to feel secure. They have predictable revenue coming in, 250 to 500K, 10 to 50K community reach. This is where you see people with signature systems. They have dedicated team members. If you're looking to target these levels, this is what to look for the orange level. Is their signature system in place? Do they have a team in place? And are they starting to shift into more of CEO thinking? This is where businesses tend to move from solopreneur to really, hey, I run my business, I'm not my business. At the lower levels, people very much identify as their business is them. As they move up, they start to think more like a CEO. And to get to the next level, they really need marketing scale strategies and really laser focused strategies, because to get here, they've probably thrown everything out there. Like they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. And at this phase, it's where you got to put that spaghetti back together and really help create the systems that will get them to the next level. This is where it becomes easier to sell higher ticket programs, right? So 2K to 15K is pretty easy to sell at this level, right? So you need to know, based on the investment that you want people to make, how much revenue is their business generating, or how much money are they personally making? Here, keep in mind, even though they've got more income coming in, lifestyle and living expenses are a huge chunk of that. They're very much in the just keep swimming phase of life. They have security for their basic necessities, but there is a huge pressure to keep the income going. And if you're at this level with a team, you understand exactly what I'm saying. You got to make payroll. You got to cover the tools and the automation and all the things in your business. But it's easier for somebody at this level to write a check or swipe a card if both the emotional and logical motivation for it is there. And you want to make sure you're always looking at both of those sides in your messaging. Again, this level, keeping up with the Joneses a little bit. You got social climbers, trends and fashion start to matter. This is where branding starts to become incredibly important, right? And it's not just your logo, it's how does your business make people feel? Everything about your brand. At this level, make sure you're showing examples that match their goals. Get testimonials and photos from people who are at this level or just above it, because feedback and reviews start to matter so much more at this level. And as a side note, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make in their funnels, and you've probably seen funnels that do this, or sales pages. If you've ever landed on a sales page and immediately disqualified yourself from an offer because you read the testimonials and you were like, oh, this is for beginners, or, oh, I'm not at this level yet. I've been on sales pages for programs that I disqualified myself from because I'm seeing testimonials from, Tony Robbins and people like that. And I'm like, oh, this is not for me. I am not, multi-million-dollar business level yet. So make sure that the testimonials you use match who you're targeting. I shared a story in the email lead up to this. Some of you may have seen that one of the clients I was working with, was having major issues getting the right leads in. People were coming in and on sales calls, they were on the verge of bankruptcy. They were struggling just to keep their basic bills paid. They did not have money to invest. And the program was a 10K program. So you got to have some level of, liquid income to be able to invest in that. And we figured out what it was causing that particular thing to happen. There was a testimony on the sales page from someone who shared that before they went through this program, they couldn't even afford to buy cat food for their cats. Now, when I see a testimonial like that, it tells me, hey, if I'm in that situation, this program's for me. So be careful with your testimonials and case studies. Make sure they match and that your ideal clients can identify with them. If you don't want to attract beginners, don't use testimonials that scream beginner. Use testimonials that speak to a higher level. Now, remember, when you use a testimonial, you get to pick which parts you use. So you can pick the parts that speak to the audience you want to attract. And if you have no idea what those should be, ninja tip, go look at programs that are even in a different space than yours, but who target the level of person you're after, and just go read the testimonials. See what people are talking about, see what they value in those programs. You can do the same thing on Amazon. Find the best-selling books that your ideal clients would read and go read the reviews. See what type of languaging they're using, see what they're saying about it, and it will tell you what they value so you know what type of testimonials you're looking to get and can get them on your pages and in your message. See here. So next level is leading. This is where you would consider most businesses successful when they hit this level. It's $500,000 or higher. They've got 50 to 250,000 community reach. At this point, they probably have PR or legal people that they either have in-house or that they're working with. You want to target this level? Make some good connections with PR people and legal services for business. They can refer you these clients. And these two top levels buy more from referral than anything else. They don't have time to do all of the research, to evaluate all the options, because they're busy making money in their business. They're busy running their business. They will buy more quickly from a recommendation or referral than from anything else. This is where a referral funnel is really key. They may also have a physical office. That's another thing you can look for if you want to settle this level. Their focus is not on the day-to-day in their business. It's really on scale and on leadership. And this is where the investment level is actually got a beginning, because under that level, if your offer is less than 5K, they are usually going to dismiss it as, oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Because if what you offer is valuable, then they expect you to be charging a matching price tag for that. This is where you're also easy to get offers over 25K. So when businesses are at this level. So if you've got a very high ticket offer, you want to be intentional about attracting these two higher levels into your business. This is also where marketing really starts to flip, right? So it's not about everybody gets this free thing, come to this webinar. It flips into what's called luxury strategies. And we don't have time to go deeply into it, but there's 3 paths within luxury sales: luxury, fashion, and premium, right? There is a book, if you are targeting this level, The Luxury Strategy, Break the Rules of Marketing to Build Luxury Brands. Get if you want to target these higher levels, because everything flips, right? It becomes, make it a little bit harder, put a barrier there versus very easy to get access to you, very easy to get access to your products. When you think about brands like Apple that have successfully positioned themselves in a do differently to market to this. All right, and then identity and positioning. Your brand identity has very unique and so make sure you dialed in your branding, and then have the conversation about whether it should be easy to buy, right? Whether, oh, is my sound back? Did I lose it for a minute? Okay. All right. Let's see here. So then we get to the very top level, and that is the elite level. This is where, and not all businesses actually move into the elite level. Some businesses stay in the pink level, others move into the purple level. This is where it's not just about the numbers, it's really about the goal for the business. So if they are looking to really leave a legacy really significance matters. And if you think of CEOs, of big companies, you can tell the difference between somebody who is very driven by legacy versus driven by the revenue side of the business. Nothing wrong with either one of those, but you need to know who you're speaking to if you really want to sell effectively to them. At this level, they generally have $1 million plus in revenue, 250,000 plus community reach, and same things, PR, legal, media buyers, ad budgets, physical offices, but their focus really is impact and legacy. And you're actually going to struggle selling to this market if your offer is at 25K and above. They will generally not give you the time of day. So if you want to target this audience, really think about what is the offer that makes sense, right? So those are the 5 basic levels. And we're going to go back up here and I'm going to give you a few more examples of this. So as you're looking at what kind of funnels to put in place for these different levels, if you're looking to target the blue level or the green level, these are definitely more of a on-demand product type, right? These are info products, these are video products, trainings, things with modules. This is where you can sell information a lot more effectively. If you've got a 10 module video course, it'll sell really well to these lower levels. That will not sell well to the higher levels, right? I don't have time to go through 10 videos that are an hour long to find the one thing that I needed to know to make a difference in my business. The chances of me buying into that are almost zero at this point. I just don't have the time, right? So really, you got to look at what's the style of offer that will attract someone as well. And let me focus on the slide I'm on. So if you're targeting the lower levels, typical funnels will work. You can get these people from social media. You can get them with email marketing. You can get them with VSLs and webinars. Those will sell very effectively to these lower levels. But as you move up, you've got to start looking at things like an application funnel, looking at referrals, networking. These are the things that will sell better. One of the things that I've advised a lot of clients to do, if you have been targeting the lower levels, you've been doing more lower ticket offers, group programs, things like that, and you're looking to get a higher level of client in, you need a button on your website that lets them skip your funnel, skip your process, and go straight to a conversation with you, right? And that's because, again, they're not going to go through your funnel. They don't have time, and you want to sell the way people want to buy. They want to just find out, hey, can you fix this for me? This is the problem. Have a conversation with you and give you their credit card. So you really want to keep that in mind as you're putting funnels together, what will work at which level. Application funnels, for example, do not work well with lower levels of buyers. They might take the time to fill it out, but a couple of things will happen. Number one, you're going to get a whole lot of unqualified leads because they had the time to fill out that extensive application on your website. You're also going to get a lot of people who don't complete it because they see your questions and either they're not comfortable sharing it, or they're not honest when they share those answers with you, or they don't actually have the right answers. So as you're looking at where your funnels fit, really ask yourself, will my ideal client take the time to fill this out? When I set up application funnels for higher level offers, they're very short. They're 2 or 3 questions that only give me the key information that I need. Everything else I ask on a sales call, right? It's not something that I need to know before the call. And if somebody's coming in who doesn't know me yet, the chances of them sharing confidential information with me in a form on my website, well, I question when someone does because they don't know us yet, right? So make sure that you keep your applications short, and the key details that you want, you don't have to ask before they talk to you. Ask them that in conversation once they're comfortable with you and you've got a little bit of rapport established, right? So those are some of the funnel approaches that work as we're looking at this piece here of information versus expertise and speed. You want to think about this in all of your messaging, right? So to use an example for this, if I am, let's say, an SEO expert, and what I do is help people optimize their websites for search to get traffic, to get leads from that, there's a big difference, right, in the way people buy at these levels. If I'm selling a course on how to do SEO yourself, then the information I put out is going to be very tactical, very how-to. I'm going to do social media posts and webinars and things on, the 5 steps to optimizing your website to get traffic from search. But if I want to sell a done for you package to higher level clients, they don't want to know how to do it. That's the whole point. That's why they're hiring me. They want it done for them. So instead of your messaging being how to and tactical, you want to ask yourself, what do they really need to know to say yes? At that level, the things that I would write for social media, for emails, are things more like how to hire the right SEO firm and not get burned. And talk about, what do you look for in somebody to do this for you? How do you know this person is qualified? How do you know this firm can handle the project, right? Think about what they're buying. They're not buying the information, they're buying the done for them, and they need to feel secure in doing that with you. So your messaging, even to attract them from the very first interaction you have with them, is different, even though it's the same service and the same knowledge that you are selling. It's SEO. How you position it has to be different to speak to those different levels, right? So think about that piece of it. And also think about your offers. You know, we used to see a lot of those like 250-page ebooks. If you go back in time a little on the internet, something like that will sell to a beginner because they have the time to go through it. They want the information. You're never going to get a higher level buyer to invest in a 250-page ebook unless you have some really unique messaging and positioning around that. That's just too much information. They want the one-page checklist that's going to tell them the one thing they need to know that will make a huge difference. Or better yet, they want you to tell them, based on your business, here's what you need to do, right? The expertise and speed is much more important than the information. That's not what they're buying at that level. So really think about that in your offers. Are they positioned in a way that speaks to the level of client that you want to attract? And then you can look at, how do you expand into these different levels? And really, if you're looking for, one core thing, look at who is going to get the most value from what it is you offer, because those are the people that are going to be the easiest to get to say yes. If you're getting a lot of the objection of, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I'm not ready for this, you've got the wrong level leads, or you're not messaging it to match what they want, right? When I'm selling a program or a product, it's not the same pitch for everyone, even if it is the same offer, because what they want, they're a little different, and you have to focus on what are the problems they're aware of, right? And this correlates a little bit with the levels of awareness. If you're familiar with that, are they even aware they have a problem? If they're not aware of the problem you solve, find a different problem to speak to. Find the problem that they're aware of. You need people who are aware, ideally who are already looking for a solution, maybe even looking for the solution that you offer. Much easier to get those people into a conversation and to get them saying yes. Right? So as you look at moving through all of these levels, you really want to keep an eye on what's the value they're looking for, because sometimes it's not about how much money are they going to make, right? Sometimes it's about how much time will they save, or how much chaos can you help them tame. Know what those motivators are so that you can speak to that. Let's see. So actually, there's a question in the chat that goes right along with this. So I'm gonna read this real quick, and then we can use this as an example here. If you have a product which meets the needs of all levels, and there are some, right? I mean, like toothbrushes, toothpaste. I hope every level here in business or personal is buying a toothbrush and using toothpaste, but the way that you sell is still different to each of these levels. If you've got three options, software as a service, done with you, done for you, how would you target the different stages? So this goes a little bit to what I was saying about SEO as an example. If I've got a software platform, and actually I'll use a real example. So we built a software tool called Proof Simple. It gathers video testimonials. The messaging for the software version of it is very different from the messaging of a done proofreel version of it, where we create the whole thing beginning to end. So the three offers that we have in place for that particular business, number one is the do-it-yourself software. That's, hey, get access to the solution. It's affordable. It's easy to use, right? Knowing people at the lower levels are looking good deals, save time, save money, something that they can quickly implement. So the messaging really speaks to that. And then as you move up, we do have a done with you offer where it's budget friendly, but we take all the videos that they've got and edit them into a proof reel. At that level, the price point is mid-tier price point, and we speak to the idea of, you're busy. You've got testimonials, but you're not using them effectively. So let us edit them into a proof reel for you that will help increase your sales. So it's really speaking to time savings because people at that level that want done with them or partially done for them are usually, again, in hustle mode. They don't have the investment money to really get it done for them, but they also don't have time to do it themselves. And then at the highest level, where it's we do it for you, we literally handle it end to end. And the messaging there is, hey, you're delivering great results to your clients, but you're busy delivering results to your clients. Let us set up the appointment, get on Zoom with your clients, ask the right questions to get great testimonials for you. And then we'll edit it into a proof reel. We'll take care of everything end to end. You just have your developer put the code on your page for the proof reel. And it really speaks more to everything being done for them and really getting that in place to boost their conversions. So, bottom level, it's, hey, this is a good deal. You can do this yourself. We give you everything that you need. Mid-level is, we'll work with you on this. You don't have enough time to do this, but you've got the assets, so let's make it happen. Highest level is more, hey, we'll do it all end to end, so you don't have to worry about any of it. And it really is more speaking to what they're looking to do, which is hit their next level. So when we sell to higher levels with that, one of the key things in our messaging isn't just getting the testimonials, but it's what are they for? Are they being used? And at the higher levels, it's generally people who are looking to move into a new market or attract higher level clients, higher level leads, and being able to collect the testimonials in a way that speaks to that higher level audience is something that we can do so that their funnels do attract a higher level. So more about next level in your business. And so, yes, those are 3 different funnels, essentially. The software has its own website, and people come through a typical, hey, here's a video that demonstrates the product and walks them through how they use it, what it's good for kind of thing. Examples of how to put it on their pages, and what's possible when you have the right proof in place. For the higher levels, done with you and done for you, that is almost all referral. So because the model lends itself really well to that, when we work with a client, we're interviewing all of their clients, which gives us a really easy way to have a conversation with our client of, hey, by the way, if any of your clients are interested in this now that they've seen the process, here's how you can refer them to us. And we have a really good referral program in place for that. So the higher levels are more networking, conversations, and referrals. We do actually direct outreach for that. We do messaging through LinkedIn and through some of the other platforms that gets those clients coming to us through direct outreach to them. So hope that makes sense. You can do self-select with this. One of the things that we've done on a lot of client websites is they've got their core funnel and their core offer. It's usually for a group program or a self-study type thing. And we add a real obvious call out button. One of them that we did recently just said over 250K a year, click here. And it takes people directly to a very short application page. It's got a video that says, hey, if you're looking to solve problem XYZ in your business, and this is where you're at, let's have a conversation. And takes them directly to a booking process. So it's a separate funnel in terms of where people are going, but they are self-selecting, and that can work really well. You guys may have seen on Strategic Profits, I know some of you came here from the emails from Rich. One of the things on the site that we're testing out and playing with is having a button right in the top right corner that says, become a contributor or get featured. Why are we doing that? A couple of reasons. Number one, we want people to let us know they've got great strategies and be a contributor on the site. But number two, they're about to roll out some offers. And if you're in the Infinity Funnel group and scenes that are targeting a higher level client, the best way to get that higher level client to let us know they are is through something like that, where when somebody clicks get featured and tells us, hey, I've got this great strategy, it's working like crazy in my business, chances are they're a good fit for another offer that we've got. And so having that call out where people self-select and kind of just raise their hand of, oh, hey, that's me, will get those higher level clients into a separate process so you can really get offering, right? So it can be done from one website, one landing page, but they are distinct processes because those levels buy differently and the process that you want to take them through is different. The messaging is different all along the way. All right, so let me go back down here. A couple more things that I wanted to share with you all. So if you're familiar with this, you may have already done an empathy map. If you haven't, please do this. Take a minute. You can find all sorts of videos on YouTube that talk about this. You want to do this for every level that you're targeting because it is different. You will see a huge difference when you go through and do this exercise for one level of buyer versus another level of buyer. And this is one of the most valuable things that you can do. If you have a buyer at that level, you can do this from that buyer's perspective. If you don't, you want to really think about who is an ideal buyer, where are they at, and go through this exercise. It will help you develop the messaging that will really speak to them, right? Because anything you're selling, I mean, if we take toothpaste as an example, if I'm selling a toothpaste and I am looking at the blue level or that survival startup level, then I'm looking at things like, how cheaply can I sell this? Can I put it in bundles? You get 2 tubes of toothpaste for the price of 1. Like, it's going to be very much discount based. If I'm selling to higher levels, I'm starting to look at, let's say, maybe this is going to whiten your teeth. This is fluoride free, depending on who exactly I'm targeting within that market. But even the reasons for buying toothpaste are different other than teeth at the different levels, right? So anything that you are offering, make sure you go through this and really look at that particular level of client, even if it's the same thing that you're selling. The other thing is to go through a matrix like this, where you look at, for the buyer that you want to target, what are the problems or challenges that they're aware of? One of the other big problems that often happens in funnels and sales processes is you're targeting a problem that's not a big enough deal. So are you targeting something that would be a migraine, or is it just a stubbed toe? Or is it a fatal illness, right? 1 to 4, what is the priority of actually solving that problem or challenge? And beyond that, why does it matter? Why do they actually want to solve it? And then what is the solution to that? And if you go through for whatever level you're targeting and list out what are all the problems and challenges they're aware of, and then figure out what are the top 2 or 3 that are really those huge pain points, right? If I've got a severe migraine, I probably don't want you to tell me to reduce my stress, to drink less coffee. You could tell me that, but I probably won't have a pretty look on my face if I'm suffering from a migraine at that moment. All I want is for you to give me the pill or the prescription or the shot that is going to make it go away. And I'm willing to pay for that. So you want to really look for what is that migraine or fatal illness level problem that you can speak to, so that you are really getting the right people's attention at the point where they're ready to make a decision, right? So list those problems for the audience that you want to target, and then go back and figure out, how do the top 2 or 3 really relate to your offer? How can you tie that in a way that is very ethical, but also targeting the right conversation, right? When people read your messaging, they need to feel like you're inside their head, like you actually get it, right? And by the way, bonus tip, think about what else they're trying to solve that. One of the best things that I've done over the years in business is looking at, what other solutions are people looking for? Because if I can make that list of what are 5 other ways somebody wants to solve this problem, I can speak to those solutions that they're aware of and get their attention, so I can show them my solution, right? Let's see, can you guys hear me okay? I see a couple of messages about my internet. Hopefully my connection is good here. So great question in chat. Does research show a correlation between levels of awareness and income? Yes, and it's kind of its own thing at each of the levels of income. So somebody can be in survival mode and have a very high level of awareness that there's a problem they need to solve. They can also be at the elite level and have a very high awareness. What the problem is what's different. The problem that they are aware of. If I'm in startup phase in my business, the problem I'm aware of is, dear God, I need to make sales today, right? If I'm at a higher level and I'm very aware of that problem and very willing to invest and help for that. But if I'm at a higher level, it's a different problem that I'm aware of. So when you're looking at levels of awareness, it's specific to what the problem is at that level in business. I hope that makes sense. Let me double check my internet here. Okay. All right. So the big question is, does your messaging, your marketing, and your offer match who you truly want to attract and work with? If you've got a traditional hour-long webinar funnel, but you're looking to sell a 25K package, you may want to rethink that approach and really look at what's the fastest way for that person to get to you to have a conversation to invest. If you're targeting more mass market, I hope no one is doing individual sales calls for, $500 products, but if you are, you can sell that through a funnel. So modify that quickly because that's going to lead to burnout if you have the wrong funnel in place for the offer that you want people to say yes to. So you really want to match that up. And the thing that I think is so powerful about this formula and really looking at your business through this lens of what level buyer do I want to attract is that it helps you expand everything. Because when you get the messaging right and you're speaking to the problem that the audience you want is aware of, your opt-in rates go up, your conversion on your offers go up. You can set the right price point so that it's easy to get yeses instead of hearing, I don't have the funds to invest, or instead of, worse yet, never even hearing from someone who would have invested 5, 10, 15K with you because they didn't know they could. And that's what happens with a lot of funnels. There have been so many times I've had conversations with people and they thought about hiring me before I figured this out, or other people that I know would have been a great fit. And they're like, oh, I didn't think they worked with people at my level. I didn't think they were available because they didn't go through the 12-step funnel to get to that offer. So you want to look at what are all the places that you can reduce the friction to get those people to see your offer sooner so they can go straight to it. And this will help with all of those different pieces. One more thing that I wanted to share, another way to look at this is instead of looking at it in the levels, is to really look at it as more of a star. Because whatever your offer in the center is, you can modify it to reach all of these levels and speak to all of these levels. And if you're at a place where you're really looking to scale, what you want to do is get one level really dialed in first, and then you can expand into all of these other areas to sell the same basic product or service, but with a more strategic approach to your messaging, your marketing, and your offer, so that it really grabs their attention. You're speaking to the problems they're aware of, and you're speaking their language, and the offer is aligned with what they're looking for, so that it's an easy yes. Everything becomes easier when those things line up. All right, let's see. We got all the questions here. Makes sense. Awesome. All right, this is a paradigm shift. Good. That's great. It's helpful in targeting clients. Let's see. Good question here. On your big button self-select strategy, do you only have a video and 3-question form or straight to a calendar for a meeting? So generally, if I have that button on a website and we're looking to get the higher level people to filter themselves out and go straight to that, what I suggest is having what we call a half-page power funnel. And basically, that's a page where you have a very powerful headline that speaks directly to the problem solution, right? And then a video that is testimonials. It's literally people at that level speaking to the results you got for them, the problem that you solved for them, and then below that video, a quick 2 or 3 question max application. When somebody fills that in, straight to the calendar to book. Unless your calendar is so busy that you have to put more qualifications in place, I recommend letting them go straight to your calendar to book. You just want to make sure that your positioning on the page says very clearly who it's for, because most people will actually stop if they don't see themselves as qualified and not finish that process. You just have to be really clear about who is qualified for this. So video, couple of questions, and straight to the booking form. And that is a really quick way for your higher ticket buyers to actually get in touch with you. Because again, at that level, it's referrals and social proof that matter more than anything else. They want to make a good decision. They want to know you can get them the results, and they don't need to know the details, because if they were busy in the details of everything, they wouldn't be at the level in business they're at. They just want to know that you can be trusted to provide that solution. So having that testimonial video or you direct to camera mixed in with some testimonials is what works best on that page. Definitely do recommend having a video on that page though, and just a couple of quick qualifying questions. All right, so for those of you who are interested in going deeper with this, learning more about the different funnels that work at each of these levels, I would love to invite you to join me for Cleared to Scale. This is a 6-week program where we actually go through each of these levels in depth. And we look at, let's see an example here, the specific funnels that work at each of these levels. So we've got funnel maps in the program that will show you exactly what to build at these different levels, what pieces need to be in place to work best to attract that particular audience. So start with big picture, really dialing in who is it that you want to attract. Then we go through each of these levels one at a time and really look at what offer styles, what price points, what bonuses, all of the pieces that will really work to connect, as well as diving into the different levels of awareness and knowing what problem to target that you have a solution for. We also have a module about the expansion matrix. So really looking at, for your specific offer, how do you expand into those different levels? And for this time around in this group, I've added a personal review to this. So if you want to learn more about this and dive in more so that you can get your funnels really dialed in, your messaging really dialed in, part of the program is a personal review with me. So you send me over what you've got, whether it's your website, your sales page, your funnel, what you've got in place now. Tell me who you're really looking to attract, what the offer you really want to sell is, and I will do a private video review of you for that for you and share with you what you can tweak, what you could change to really speak to that audience and really get that piece working for you. And that's something I haven't offered in the past with this program, but I'm seeing that that's the most helpful part of it, I think, is getting somebody's eyes on it with you who can help you kind of get outside the box and see it differently. So this program does start next week. It's one module a week. They are all recorded on demand. You can fit them into your schedule whenever that works for you. Again, for those of you who are on this webinar with me, we do have the bonus of a private review of what you've got with me included in the program. If you go to michelleschaefer.com/scale, you will land on a page, and I will put this in chat for everybody, assuming I can operate copy and paste here. There we go. Where you can see all of the details. Well, let me send this to everybody, everyone in meeting. There we go. Flip over to page for a minute. So you will see details about this, as well as a link right here. If you click on this, it will take you to full details of everything in the program. I'm not going to go over that. I appreciate you spending an hour with me here. And I know everything says I should walk you through this and tell you how much each piece is worth, but I think you've seen the model, you see how it works, and you know if this is something that would be helpful for you. If you'd like the full information, you can click through, check out this page, and you'll see it. It explains more about the program, what's included, and all of the details here. I would love to have any of you who are looking to apply this in your business join me. It's a great way to really dial everything in, to get clear on things so that you're only focused on the pieces that are actually going to convert, actually going to work for you, and really speak to the right level of clients so that you don't hear, I can't afford it anymore, or you don't lose out on clients who you didn't even know were there and were looking at what you did and who would have invested at a higher level if they had just known that that was an option for them. So again, it's michelleschaefer.com/scale. If you have questions, you are welcome to message me. You can get me on Facebook. You can reply to any of the emails that I've sent, and that program does start next week. So just an invitation, if you would like to get this really implemented in your business, to join me for that, and we will dive in deeper. All right, so I'm going to give you about 3 minutes of your time back if you would like it. If you have questions, you're welcome to stick around, and I will be happy to answer those. Yes, this is live. I am teaching the program live. So it's a combination of Zoom like this, everything recorded for you, all of the maps delivered in PDF, and then a private Signal group, which I don't know how many of you use Signal, but it's a messaging app for your phone so that you can put any questions you've got in there. You don't have to wait until the next module to ask questions. I know that drives me crazy. I prefer to be able to ask questions when they come up as I'm implementing things. So we have a Signal group for that. The cost of the program, scroll down here. So it's one payment of $497 or two payments of $277. So it's a very, very affordable investment to get access to the information. And depending on what level you're targeting, easy to make that investment back in just a sale or two. Let's see, so questions, what day? It will be on Tuesdays, same time as this call. So it will be on Tuesdays on Zoom. And let's see what else. Questions about testimonial services. I would be happy to share more about that. So I will send a follow-up email with some details about that as well to everyone. How long is each session? So it generally takes between 60 and 90 minutes to go through each of these levels because we are going through, I showed here a minute ago, specific funnel maps for them, right? Because it's one of those things where it's easy to say, hey, build the right funnel, but I know it makes me bonkers if I don't actually see an example of what does that mean for whatever I'm trying to do. So there are specific funnel maps, and we go through these in detail of what are the different pages, what are the specific tools to use. And these are very low tech. Most of them are very simple to put together. You've probably already got the tools for them. It's more a matter of what's the messaging on the page and what's the process that someone is going through inside of that funnel. We also talk about traffic sources for each of them. You can see some of the traffic sources mapped out on some of these examples. So 60 to 90 minutes plus Q&A. Again, it's recorded, so you don't have to stay on live for the whole thing. What I generally recommend, to be honest with you, is session number 1 is really important because that gives you a better overview, and really the exercises we go through help you figure out which levels you've been targeting, which level you want to target, and really map out the offer for that level. And then just pick the sessions that match the level you want to target. You don't need to know all 5 unless you're targeting all 5. And I am a big fan of only investing your time in the pieces that are going to be most helpful and relevant for you. So I will not be taking attendance. You may pick and choose the sessions that are actually a fit for you in your business. You'll have access to all of it recorded. So if you decide you want to target a different level later, you can always go back and grab that. But that is what I actually recommend is session 1, then the sessions that are a fit for who you want to target, and then the final session 7, where we look at that expansion matrix, because that's going to help you figure out big picture, what direction do you want to go next with your business, right? Sometimes it makes sense to actually expand into a lower level market because there's a volume play there and there's a less time invested there. Sometimes it makes sense to go the other way and really look at what's the funnel that's going to get 25K plus buyers. And that session will help you clarify and set some specifics for yourself of where do you go beyond your core offer. But hopefully that answers the question. See, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I hope this has been helpful for you. I know this solves a lot of problems that I was running into working with a lot of my consulting clients and figuring out, why isn't this converting when we know it's a great offer? We know people get amazing results. You got to speak their language. You got to know what the core motivators are at each of these levels. What are the problems they're aware of? And really, what's the funnel type that's going to work? Because I love the one funnel away thing, but it only works if you got the right funnel in place. So, all right. With that, we will wrap up here. Let's see. Oh, one more question. Is there an upsell for another level at the training? No, there is not. So the $500, that's everything I've got on this. We go deeply into all of this. So there is not an upsell after that. You're going to get a confirmation page that says, hey, you're in, join the Signal group here. You will not see another upsell after that. Just the program, because that's all you need to get this implemented in your business. All right. Let's see, have I tested surveys on front end and direct matching funnels? Yes, that works very well at certain levels. Quiz funnels also work very well at certain levels and not at all at others. And I've been doing this, about dating myself, 22 years now. I've been in online marketing. I started my business in 2000. So we've tested just about every funnel and tool imaginable at this point with all different levels of clients. Lots of fun data to play with. All right. Thank you all. Have an amazing rest of your day. Again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. Just hit reply on any of my emails. That'll come directly to me. or you can hit me up in Facebook Messenger, and I am happy to chat with you about this. Thank you again for taking time to be here. Go implement this in your business. It will make a huge difference.